I'm Pete Quinnell, welcome to the WrestleTalk News. Today's top story is that Bloomberg Law is reporting that WWE, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and several other WWE executives and notable members of their creative team have been sued for alleged acts of racial and gender discrimination and wrongful termination. It's not a fun one today, guys. The lawsuit comes from former WWE writer Brittany Abrahams, who was with the company from 2020 to 2022. The lawsuit was filed on April 25, 2023, and includes WWE, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, Chris Labrando, a senior vice president creative writing operations, WWE creative team members Chris Dunn, Ryan Callahan, Jen Pepperman, and former team member Mike Heller. Abraham alleges that she was discriminated against and was fired for objecting to offensively racist and stereotypical jargon in scripts for black performers, with her complaints being ignored. The alleged reason given for her firing was that she had taken a commemorative chair home from WrestleMania 37, despite this supposedly being standard procedure and one member of the creative team informing the writers' room that they were allowed to do so. However, the lawsuit then alleges that in retaliation for engaging in protected conduct, defendants unlawfully and pretextually terminated plaintiff's employment. There are examples given of some of the alleged discriminatory pitches in the lawsuit. The lawsuit alleges that Apollo Crews was forced to speak with a stereotypical and exaggerated Nigerian accent, and Bianca Belair was repeatedly scripted to say the line, "Don't make me take my earrings off and beat your ass," which Belair herself is alleged to have objected to, complaints which were ignored. Shane Thorne was allegedly pitched to have a crocodile hunter character who would hunt people instead of animals. He would continually hunt one person in particular, Reggie, who he would keep in a cage. There was also a storyline allegedly pitched for a love triangle between Mansoor, Aaliyah, and Angel Garza, where it would be hinted that Mansoor has a secret, which would eventually be revealed that Mansoor would be responsible for the 9/11 terror attacks. Despite complaints being raised about these discriminatory scripts and storyline pitches, they were allegedly ignored, with Labrando, the senior vice president creative writing operations, responding with, "Wacky things are said in the writer's room all the time, and I know, but look at the waves we're making in the company. 4 years ago, no woman worked on the writers' team." A lot of these interactions allegedly took place in a company Slack channel, meaning there may very well be screenshots and proof that they happened in due course as part of this lawsuit. According to Sean Ross Sapp on Twitter, WWE will not be commenting on this lawsuit. Head on over to WrestleTalk.com to check out more and to stay up to date with the latest. And now we whiplash right along into regular wrestling news, because let's talk about that crazy new world title belt. Hey! There's been talk surrounding the belt itself since its unveiling on Raw, and now we might know who will be winning the belt for the first time at Night of Champions. WrestleVotes via Give Me Sport is reporting that Seth Rollins is Triple H's leading candidate to win the belt in Saudi Arabia. While there are supposedly other wrestlers who are potential inaugural winners, there's reportedly a very strong chance that Rollins walks out with a belt at the end of May. And now over to Ollie for Dynamite.
Don't miss the most controversial book of the year as WrestleTalk presents The New War, WWE versus AEW. Available now in print and ebook at WrestleShop.com.
Now it's time for my review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. The show opened on Orange Cassidy's 20th straight title defense, what is arguably the best championship reign of the year so far, taking on a returning Bandido who hasn't been seen in AEW since wrestling Bryan Danielson on the 18th of January. Momentum, their styles meshed really well, with Cassidy doing low-effort versions of Bandido's moves, and then Bandido just casually lifting a grown man up over his head with one hand. I don't know why after all these years and 20 straight bangers, I'm always still surprised at how well Orange can wrestle. Cassidy won not just the match, but seemingly a new best friend. Putting a pair of shades on Bandido afterwards. I really thought we were going to get a Too Cool style dance there. And then walking around backstage together and saving Adam Cole later on. This is a tag team I did not know I needed. Speaking of things I didn't know I needed, oh buddy! Give me all the Jeff Jarrett versus Dax Harwood you got! Even with Jeff in great condition, Dax was determined to make him look as strong as possible, flipping round him, taking big bumps, and eventually giving him the win thanks to Sonjay Dutt interference. Wrestling. The winner doesn't just get the Carney McCarnison Award for Best Carney, it also likely sets Team TNA up for a fun tag title filler feud before FTR can finally face the Bucks. They're never gonna face the Bucks. Tony Khan's latest, absolutely huge, massive announcement was details for this year's Owen Hart Cup, which will start at Double or Nothing, have a bunch of matches in Canada, and fittingly conclude in Owen's hometown of Calgary. While the Tony life-changing, groundbreaking, Limousine riding announcements have become a meme, and last year's cup didn't really amount to anything. This was well put together, effectively promoted the tournament, and, crucially, was pre-recorded using B-roll over the top so you didn't just have to watch Khan not blinking for 3 uninterrupted minutes. Wardlow squashed a guy who didn't even get his name said on commentary, let alone a ring entrance, for his new manager Arn Anderson to bestow some life advice. You want to get ahead in this world, kid? You're gonna need to maim people. Stop it with the casual GBH. It's not the 80s anymore. Thankfully, the edge was slightly taken off by the fact Arn was dressed like a member of the Royal Tenenbaums. Speaking of people who've had the edge slightly taken off, out came Christian. I'd like us all now to take a 10-second pause to recognize how good my joke was. Christian had Luchasaurus Dark accompanying him, but never got in the ring, further teasing the next proper TNT title feud. At the top of the second hour, we got Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara, with the winner advancing to face MJF for the AEW World Championship in the main event of Double or Nothing. Max and Sammy brilliantly yucked it up beforehand, getting each other matching vests and scarves and hugging, and Darby and Jungle Boy just... I don't know, actually, they just kind of stood there and were weirdly passive-aggressive. They did agree, though, that Jungle Boy would help Allin against the heel tactics of MJF. So, in the actual match, Sammy low-blow Darby. Wait for it, Jungle Boy. Tay Mello distracted Darby. Wait for it, Jungle Boy. MJF framed Darby with the Eddie Guerrero chair spot. Hold! Hold! The referee declared Sammy the winner via DQ. Hold on! And Max and Sammy beat up Allin after he'd lost. Okay, now Jungle Boy, go make the save. Sammy and Darby worked excellently together with a seamless Sammy cutter reversal on one of Darby's bullet dives and an incredible 630 senton from Guevara through a table outside. And Max was hilarious on commentary, pushing kosher pickles through the ad break. I just feel the recent booking of how AEW is getting to the inevitable 4-way has been contrived and actually undermined the faces. So it's a testament to how fun MJF and Sammy are together that I don't really mind. After telling Darby to go use his tears to play with himself while listening to My Chemical Romance, Tony Schiavone called Max a prick and then announced a tag match for next week, where if JB and Darby can beat MJF and Sammy, the 4-way will happen at Double or Nothing. But how? Will they co-exist? Not very well, as MJF stormed out the arena and told Sammy there wasn't enough room in his car, when there clearly was. After Saraya beat up his girlfriend last week, Adam Cole cut a promo on Chris Jericho for enabling it. Jericho played a great heel on the Tron, sending out his goons to do the work for him. Cassidy and Bandido weirdly ran out to help Cole, which I actually didn't mind because I strangely like them both together, but the big pop came when the odds were finally evened, as Roderick Strong made his AEW debut. Like, is he okay to be? I thought he was in WWE. This might be the biggest shock not linked to any wrestling site's debut since Sting 2 and a bit years ago. I love Roddy. He was one of my favorites when I watched Ring of Honor before it was cool. And the poetic resolution of him saving Cole here and their emotional embrace was cathartic. And now, all your favorite Undisputed Era members are in AEW. Cole, Strong, O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy. Where's the line? Let's just check with WrestleTalk CM Punk correspondent Brian Children if CM Punk has returned too.
No, CM Punk is not in AEW yet.
How about WWE?
Let me check. No, not there either.
Ah, damn it, I thought he was backstage at Raw. Powerhouse Hobbs fighting QT Marshall to get him his TNT title back. In Jay Cargill's best feud since Shaq and Cody 2 years ago, in that it's been an actual feud, she defended her TBS title here against Taya Valkyrie, where Taya loses if she uses her finisher. The match felt big time, and it was great to see Cargill actually wrestle some back and forth action. She even hit a Canadian destroyer. Unfortunately, the finish was a bit dumb. Taya went for her finisher, even though that would lose her the match. That's fine, it's muscle memory, but then she just stood there like, duh? Like the little colour wheel on a Mac when it gets frozen, letting Jade roll her up to retain. There's enough there for Taya to have a rematch with her move made legal, but the execution here to build that missed the mark. Thankfully, Taya then tried to hit the road to Valhalla on referee Aubrey Edwards before she was quickly stopped, which was awesome. And the main event saw Kenny Omega team with Takeshita against Butcher and The Blade. This was a showcase match for Kenny and Takeshita, whose styles teamed together perfectly, and for Bryan Danielson to excel on commentary, really fleshing out the Elite versus BCC feud. That he's offended Takeshita is working with the Elite because his potential would be wasted. The only people who train with the Elite are Nakazawa and Cutler, and they've never won AEW championships. Healy Yuta joined the BCC, and he's a 2-time ROH Pure Champion. Where's the line? Denying that argument, Takeshita got the winning move of the match. Danielson cut a promo on him and accidentally said Takeshita would be great if he trained with the Elite, but he actually meant the BCC, which was enough of a confusion spot for the BCC to jump in for a brawl. Danielson convinced Takeshita to stop Kenny hurting Mox, which gave the BCC an opportunity to get back on top and murderize Takeshita, making him literally spurt blood with a screwdriver when he didn't join them quick enough. There's a lot going on here. Last week, Takeshita saved the Elite. This week, the Elite couldn't save Takeshita. There's also the idea you have to bleed to join the BCC. This was a good angle to further complicate all the relationships and an effective way to get over the new talent. A fun, if muddled show without any top-level matches, this week's Dynamite is 75%. WWE could be bringing back the brand split pay-per-views. Watch on to find out more. This was a showcase match for Kenny Omega. All the clicks.